bad news is that added up to over $100,000 in losses. That's by far the most I've ever lost in 1 month in any of the companies that I own. So 2022 has been a hell of a crazy year for me. I made a lot of money, I made a lot of mistakes. So what I want to do in this video is quickly go over the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between for 2022. All right, let's start this out on the good foot. Let's start it out with some good, and then we'll get to some bad, and then back to some good. So I added $15 million to my rental portfolio without using any of my own money. That consisted of 65 single-family rental properties and also an apartment complex. Now, the cool thing about that was I bought 42 of those single-family rental properties in one deal, all in the same neighborhood. I have a video up here that walks you through that 42 pack and how that deal went down. But I was able to build and add $15 million worth of real estate to my portfolio, all without using any of my own money, all in an environment and a market that was shifting. The market obviously shifted. If you don't live under a rock, you will know that the market shifted in 2022. Interest rates went up, house values went down, asset values went down a little bit, so I was still able to add a good chunk that in 15 or 20 years will be worth 30 million. So the things that I bought, they cash flowed and they added net worth to my portfolio. So that was really good. All right, now on to some bad. Let's just start the bad out with a bang. We lost $108,090 in my flipping company in the month of November. It was kind of a culmination of several things. We bought a lot of properties. This company buys over 300 houses a year, buys and sells and wholesales over 300 houses a year. And we had bought several properties, probably 10 or 15, in the summer when the market was kind of shifting. We were buying, assuming the ARV was here. With the prices dropping and everything happening, the ARV was actually here, and a lot of the buyers went away. A lot of our investor buyers went away because they were scared about what was going on. So that was definitely our bad, but we made it worse by trying to hold on to them, hoping that maybe things would change or we would end up finding that right buyer that was going to pay as much as we thought. So after 3 or 4 months of trying and failing to sell the properties, we said, all right, let's just get rid of all of our bad inventory in the months of October and November. And we did. So that's the good news. But the bad news is that added up to over $100,000 in losses. That's by far the most I've ever lost in 1 month in any of the companies that I own. So that wasn't ideal. It happens. Looking back, I'm glad that we bought the properties. I'm glad that we continued to buy and didn't just stop, because we definitely bought some deals that we were able to sell and make money. And that's a big company with a lot of team members that we need to feed that machine. I just wish we would have got over our pride a little bit sooner and not been as stubborn and sold those properties earlier in the process. We probably would have lost maybe half of that. Maybe we would have lost about 50 grand. All right, back to the good. I was able to grow my social media following to over 2 million. I have about 1.7 million on TikTok. As I'm recording this video, almost 250,000 on Instagram, about 85,000 here on YouTube, and a few other kind of mixed bag social media platforms. Twitter, I'm starting to grow slowly. I just got into the Twitter game since Elon Musk bought it over. I just feel like so much attention is going to go there, whether you like what he's doing or not. I decided to jump on that bandwagon, so I'm a little bit late there, and also trying to grow Facebook a little bit. I think I'm maybe around 9 or 10,000 on Facebook. So growing that social media audience has been huge. We've been able to impact a lot of people. I literally get messages weekly from people saying, I watched your free content and I was able to go buy this or do that, or I got over my fear and got invested. So it's fun to do social media. It's the top of the funnel for my mentorship. Talk about that later, but have a lot of students that have signed up, and they all start by seeing me on social media. So garnering that following has been a lot of work. It's been a lot of fun, a lot of frustration, but hitting that 2 million mark was definitely good. All right, on to a big bad now. One of my apartment complexes flooded. I own 6 apartment complexes, and there's one that's by a creek that has not ever flooded since the property was built about 60 years ago. However, here in St. Louis, we got a 1,000-year flood, meaning It rained so much in a 24-hour period that it has not happened in the past 1,000 years. It's not expecting to happen for another 1,000 years. So a very rare flood, but what happened was the creek overflowed and flooded the basement and first floor of one of my apartment complexes. While that's not the end of the world because we have insurance on the property, we did not have flood damage insurance. So the insurance only covered about $50,000 of the repairs, and it ended up costing about $200,000 in repairs. So we had to come out of pocket about $150,000 on that deal. I have a video up here where I walk through that and kind of show you the ins and the outs of that issue and how we were able to solve it. It cost us $150,000 because we had to repair everything. It knocked out power for that entire building, not just the first floor. So we had to move all of those tenants out to extended stay for 2 or 3 months while we got the power back on, cleaned up, got everything inspected, got it fixed, got it inspected again. So it was quite the process that cost us a lot of money. So that was something that could not have been avoided. I guess we could have had flood insurance, but that wasn't very super cheap, and it was something that we didn't think would happen. So I guess we could have had that flood insurance, but we didn't, and that ended up costing us some money. That makes me sad, so let's get back to some good. I mentioned a little bit earlier, but Faster Freedom exploded onto the scene. Almost exactly a year ago, at the very end of 2021, I launched my mentorship, my College of Rental Portfolio mentorship. And since then, we have added 900 students that between the students and the coaches, we own almost $200 million worth of real estate. So it is an extremely impactful program. This is not a pitch for that. I'm not even going to get into everything that it entails. Just know that that is a huge accomplishment for me, and I'm very proud because we have students that are buying multiple properties in their first few months of investing. And of course, we have students that are never going to buy anything because they don't attend any of the weekly calls. They're not on the Facebook group. They're not getting the one-on-one coaching. They're not getting the deal analysis. They're not getting everything that is offered that's lifetime access. They're not getting access to any of that because they're not actually getting out of their comfort zone and putting one foot in front of the other and actually going and doing it. So it's not something where you can just sit and not do anything and create wealth, but it is something that will show you exactly how to create that wealth. And we have a lot of students that are absolutely crushing it, and that's exciting to me. I love to see other people create wealth based on my experiences and based on my game plan. Back to some bad now. We had a self-storage facility that we were finishing up the construction of, and we had one of the buildings blow over, not once, not twice, but 3 times. We had a building that we were in the middle of constructing blow over. Not gonna go over the details of that right now. Just know that we are not the best at constructing ginormous over-the-road boat and RV indoor storage buildings. The building was like 255 feet long and about 25 feet high. The back wall blew over 3 times as we were constructing it with some strong winds. So not ideal on all part, not the end of the world. But what I screwed up was I got insurance on the build, but we built 2 buildings, everything was fine. We decided to add this 3rd building, and I did not get builder's risk insurance. So some insurance issues, as you can see, some of the bad. I did get insurance on the original builds, but adding this 3rd building was after the fact. We already had the other buildings up. We decided, hey, we got some extra money. Let's throw it in this building. We'll get X amount per rent. It'll make it worth the investment. So I did not get insurance, so that blew over, and we did not have insurance help us out at all on that. So that again cost us about $150,000. So as you can see, not everything has been sunshine and rainbows in 2022. Back to some good. Of course, we have to end this on a positive note. We ended up crossing the 300 house buy threshold in our flipping company. Yeah, that company that lost $100,000 in November. We had a pretty good year though. We bought over 300 houses, meaning we wholesaled and flipped combined over 300. I think it's going to be around 315, 320 houses in 1 year. So that was a huge milestone for us. That's something we take a lot of pride in. That's the biggest team. As I mentioned earlier, it's got, about 25 different employees, give or take a little bit, depending exactly what we got going on. So that's a big beast to feed. So we have to feed that with properties, and preferably good properties. So that's a big number for us. The goal next year is to actually dial that back a little bit and maybe up the profitability because the market shifted us on us a little bit. But that is a great company. I love that company. It also provides me a ton of content that I can put out on social media. I can see the things that we're doing on our rehabs and see the market and have a pulse on everything that's going on. So that's a great company because it's a great company, but it's also a great company because I take a lot of the lessons learned from that and give that to you. Another really good thing that I'm very proud of is we launched the Faster Freedom Show podcast. It is already in the top 1% of entrepreneurship podcasts because it's Lucas and I sitting in the chairs right behind me. You know, Lucas is my business partner, my best friend, and we do separate things in the businesses now. We have different companies that we run that we own together, but it's the only time that we get to sit back and kick and talk about what we're going through, talk about what the businesses are going through, our plans to grow those businesses, the issues that we're coming across, and we've been friends for about 20, 25 years, so we have a lot of fun kind of picking at each other and going back, and there's a lot of really fun, you know, back and forth brother type camaraderie going on. So it's something that I would definitely suggest you checking out, called the Faster Freedom Show. It's growing like crazy, and I'm planning to get a lot of really good guests in there this year, so it's a lot of fun for me. I know that a lot of people that listen to really like to see the kind of unfiltered version. We say cuss words on it, unfiltered version, and we have a lot of fun. We talk about, you know, our favorite drafts, our favorite, you know, fast food places, our favorite vacation destinations. We have a lot of fun with it. We teach a lot, but a lot of people's favorite part is the interaction that Lucas and I have together. So 2022 has been a hell of a year, and I'm more excited for 2023. The market is shifting, things are changing. It's going to provide a lot of challenges, but also challenges create opportunities if you have the right lens and are looking at things through the right mindset. So if you're interested in investing in 2023, I would highly suggest you following this YouTube channel, subscribing, hitting the notification bell, and making sure you're following me across all my platforms, because they all provide different perspectives and different opportunities for me to give you different insights on things that we're doing in our businesses. Our plan is to grow, not fire anybody, no matter what the economy is doing. All these big companies are firing, letting people go and doing all these things. We want to grow, but we want to grow the best way possible and the smartest way possible, and you get an inside track to that. Looking back, I wish I had platforms like mine to lean things off of. I looked at Bigger Pockets, that's all I really had to look at and listen to when I was starting. So hopefully if you're wanting to create wealth, this platform as well as all my platforms can benefit you greatly, because that's why I'm here, to help you grow your wealth. Also launching a book very, very shortly that I'm very, very excited about. Spent most of 2022 writing a book. So a little bonus good for you, not quite out yet. So anyways, hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to a 2023 that is going to be profitable for me and you. See you on the next one.